Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to stop by and say Happy New Year, first of all. And I wanted to talk about the last video that I posted in December 2018 about habit training. And I got a lot of questions on that through my email. And I just wanted to, give you some encouragement in terms of habit training. Guys, we have to remember that our children are young, right? And when we want to habit train or bring in routines within our home for them, that we need to understand that it's going to take time. I started habit training in the first grade with my child, like really hardcore habit training, having a routine. This is what you do when you wake up. This is what you do after school. He was in school full time. When you come home, this is what I expect you to do before you go to bed. This is what I expect you to do, in terms of homework. This is where it goes. This is our process, this is where your book bag goes, your jacket goes, all those things started in the first grade, and my son is now in the 5th grade. And although he's a little bit more consistent with it, it's not perfect. And I don't expect it to be perfect, okay? It took 4 years for us to get to a consistent place. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, yeah, 4 years for it to get to some type of consistency. And I don't think it's going to be perfect or up to my par until he leaves my home and he has his own space and he has to utilize all the things that he was taught in order to maintain his own household. Guys, don't expect your children to get all these routines and to do things in a perfect order at such a young age. If you're starting at 5, 6 years old, that's not gonna come until maybe late elementary, early middle school, where it will click and they're going to be consistent. And even in those moments where it clicks and they're going to be consistent, they're still going to forget. And they're going to forget because they have a spirit of laziness, okay? It's going to be a character issue at some point. And I don't want you guys to get too frustrated or annoyed, because you are going to have to remind them every single day. Be prepared to remind them again every single day. If they have a morning routine, and when they wake up in the morning and they're supposed to have something done by a certain time or time of day, you as parent have to say, okay, so-and-so, did you do this? And they're going to say, no, I'll do it later. You have to say, no, I need you to stop what you're doing, and I want you to go do it now. You have to have a bit of firmness in you guys. You really do, okay? And once they're done doing that, you have to inspect what you expect. Because if you're not going to check, they're not going to do it according to your minimum expectations, okay? So when they're done doing that thing, you say, okay, so-and-so, let's go to that room and let's go see if that bed is made. And if it's made, leave them alone. It doesn't have to be perfectly made where everything is symmetrical and the pillows are perfect and the bears are perfect. No, it doesn't have to be perfect. It will get better, and you should expect better as they get older and as they become more consistent in doing it. But don't expect perfection. Okay, because you're just going to continuously frustrate yourself and you're going to frustrate the child, okay? And don't try not to do it for them. Meaning they do it, you say, great job, they leave, and then you redo it for them. No, that's their body of work. That's their sweat and tears that they put into making that bed or cleaning out that toilet or cleaning out that trash can or whatever it is that you have them do. That's their body of work. So be proud in the fact that they did it. They tried their best, and based on their age, it's probably the best it's going to be, okay? and be okay with that. It's okay. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of motivation, and I wanted to also give you some more tips on what I have done, okay, to make this a smooth transition. And again, you're doing this to help them become, or to help them have or create a habit that they will utilize for the rest of their lives. You know, when they are out your home and they are in college in their own apartment or dorm, or they leave your home and have their first place, or they're living with someone, or they get married, or whatever it is, I promise you, all those things that we're talking about now, all those habits and routines that you're instilling within them now, it's going to be fruitful at those times. Okay, so even if you go through 5 years and you're like, I've been telling you this since you were 6 years old. Dude, you're 11. Or you started at 10. You're like, dude, you're 16. It's going to happen. You're going to be a broken record on a repeat. And it's going to get annoying. And it's going to get frustrating. But give yourself grace. Okay, and in some moments you want to give your children grace. Okay, but let's talk about some additional tips here. Okay, so some of the tips I already mentioned, but I'm going to repeat myself. So tip number 1, give yourself grace. Okay, and give your children grace. What do I mean by that? So when we talk about giving your children grace, specifically, what I'm talking about is there are going to be some moments and there are going to be some times when your children are just not going to feel like doing it because they are sick. They have a lot going on in terms of, you may have them in extracurricular activities or sports, or they may have, you know, a project or something that's coming up. And because of all those things, it may be quite difficult for them to get to whatever routine, as an example, their cleaning routine at that particular moment. Give them grace. Think about it. As a parent, you know, we have, or specifically I'm talking about like mommies, and some daddies do this too, you know, we work outside the home or within the home, or maybe a stay-at-home parent, you know, we're doing this homeschool thing, possibly. You have to clean, you have to cook, you have to take, you know, kids to appointments, take yourself to appointments. Sometimes you just don't feel like sticking to your routine. You just don't feel like cleaning out that bathroom today. You just don't feel like cooking today. You're like, I'm going to put that laundry off till the weekend because I am just tired. Your children get tired too. So give them grace and give yourself grace when you and when they are in those types of moments. Okay? Tip number 2. Inspect what you expect. I'm just so big on this, guys, because you cannot expect your children to do what you expect them to do in terms of getting something done if you do not check behind them, especially in the beginning of habit training. Okay, if you tell them to, you know, take a shower, you need to check to see if they took a shower. Do a smell test. Smell that hair if they're supposed to wash their hair. You know, take a cotton swab and, you know, swish around their ear to see if that earlobe is clean. Not inside the ear, around the ear. You know, smell their breath. Did you brush your teeth? You know, smell their neck or their arm. Do you even smell like soap? Do you even smell like the moisturizer or the lotion that you're supposed to put on after you take a shower? You know, look at their nails. Is it clean? Look at their toenails. Does it look clean? You have to inspect, okay? You have to inspect. If you tell them to make that bed or wash those dishes or take out the trash, you have to go and check to make sure they did those things. And you're not checking behind their back. I take my child with me. I told you to do this, so I want you to come along this ride with me. Come take this walk with me, and let's go check that trash can. Let's go see if that bathroom is clean. Let's go see if the dishwasher is empty. Let's go see if you properly folded your clothes and put them in that drawer. Let's go check together. You know, I'm not doing any type of inspection behind your back because I want you to see what I'm looking for. And I want you to tell me why you did not do it like I just asked you to, or like you know you were supposed to. You know, look me in my eyeballs, look at me in my eyes and tell me why you did not follow my instructions or why you did not follow something you knew you were supposed to do. I always tell my child to be straightforward and be honest with me and deal with the consequences. Do not lie. Okay? Do not lie. Do not fabricate the truth. If you did it, you did it. If you didn't, just say, I didn't do it. I knew better. But I decided not to do it because I was tired or because I didn't feel like it. I'd rather him tell me that, deal with whatever consequences come because of it, if there are any consequences, and move on, rather than lie to me, and then you have to deal with two sets of consequences. One, for not doing what you were supposed to do because you had a spirit of laziness, and two, you lied. Which is even a greater set of consequences. So why deal with two when you could just be honest, be truthful? Yes, it's scary. Yes, you are walking into the unknown, but I'd rather deal with one consequence versus a set, you know, two different types of consequences. So that's tip number 2. Inspect what you expect, okay? And tip number 3 is encourage your children to tell you the truth. If they did it, great, let's check it. If it's not perfect, it's okay. We're either gonna fix it together, or I'm gonna have you redo it. Or I'm gonna say it's okay for now. Okay? And you know, part of tip number 3 is, you know, encouraging your children to tell you the truth even if they didn't do it. So even if they didn't do it, encourage your children and support them in the process of saying, I didn't do it, this is why, I know I was wrong. I'll deal with the consequences. And then give them grace in those consequences because they are being honest and they're showing that they are not going to lie to you, even if they are scared of going into the unknown because they should have done what they should have done, or they should have done, what they know they should have done. Okay. Tip number 4, checklists, charts. You know, we created so many different types of checklists for my child from 1st grade on, when he was younger. Like in kindergarten, you know, he had little chores like clean up your toys, pick up after yourself, you know, little stuff like that. Put your cup and plate in the sink, you know, little things like that. So we had star charts in kindergarten and in the 1st grade. So I had a chart with different things or different chores or household contributions, and when they did it, I would put a star on it. And if they had stars for the entire week, then we would go to the dollar store. And then when they would complete the entire board, when it would reach, you know, the entire month, then we would do something extra special, like go to the favorite restaurant, or go get ice cream, or get a toy at a Toys R Us when there was a Toys R Us, or we go to Walmart or Target or whatever, and we spend a little bit more on something that he wanted. Okay, so checklists work great, star charts work great, and keeping track of that and having the child check it off themselves. Having the child put the star on themselves. And once they progress and get to a certain point, then you want to give them some type of, you want to give them something they like for meeting that goal. Because it takes a lot for a child to complete a complete board, which may have 30 to 20 blocks, depending on how you decide to do it. That's a lot. And for a child to be consistent throughout the week, that's a lot. So consider those things. The next tip is consider monetary items, or money, not items, money. As the child gets older, You know, they want to buy video games. They want to buy headsets. They want to buy shoes. They want to buy candy. They want to buy things, you know, that you may not purchase for them on a routine basis. So if you want to, you do not have to give money for household contributions and chores. I am not telling you that's what you have to do. Based on your household rules, if you want to give or put a monetary value on certain things, feel free to do that. You know, we do that, and we did that ever since, you know, first grade. We would give dollar bills, you know, so at the end of the week, if we didn't want to go to the dollar store, we would say, okay, instead of going to the dollar store, we're going to take this dollar bill and we put it in a big clear bin. We crinkled the dollar and we put it in a big clear bin. We didn't crinkle it to where it was a ball. We just, you know, crinkled it a little bit. And then when you have a whole bunch of dollar bills within that clear jar, from the outside, it looks like the money was exploding out of the jar. So $10 looked like $100 to a kindergartner or a first grader. And they're so excited, and they want to, you know, take all that money that they've earned and go buy something, you know. We give our son allowance, but he has to earn the allowance for certain household contributions. Items such as making your bed, we're not giving you money for. Grooming yourself, you know, we're not giving you money for. You know, cleaning out your bathroom every morning or maintaining those routines, we're not giving you money for. Wiping down the table, which is part of your his nighttime routine, we're not giving you money for. You know, but we do give him money for things such as taking out the trash consistently. So if he checks the trash can without being asked consistently throughout the week, that's a part of his earnings for the week. If he decides to clean out our car by taking out all the trash and stuff that he puts in there with his sibling, then we keep track of that and we give him money. If he decides to, you know, do something that is out of the ordinary, we'll give him money for it. You know, if my husband is cleaning out the garage and he helps without being asked, he gets money for it. So his earnings are basically volunteering to do items that we would ask him to help or do anyway. But if he we always do the task without asking him, to give him an opportunity to volunteer, and that way he earns money. If he doesn't volunteer, then we'll say, hey, we need your help to come do this. And then we won't give him money because we had to ask him. Or if we did ask him and he did a fantastic job and he wasn't complaining and he was working hard, then we'll give him $5, or, you know, we'll give him a little something. The next tip is giving your kids reminders. This works in two different ways. You can use reminders like alarms, or you can even use the cell phone, or we have like Alexa. So we use Alexa. We have that throughout the house, and that will serve as our alarm. And basically, when he is supposed to do something at a particular time, Alexa will pop up and say whatever we put in there. So she'll say, Jeremiah, reminder, your room has to be cleaned in 1 hour, as an example. So he would hear that, and then he would know that he needs to, you know, get ready to stop whatever he's doing or finish up whatever he's doing, because he has an hour. And then it'll do it again in 30 minutes. Jeremiah, your room has to be clean in 30 minutes. You know, just, you know. So we put those types of reminders or alarms on Alexa. If we put it on the phone doesn't speak, but the alarm goes off and he can look at it and it tells him on his phone what that alarm is for. So we've done that before. Another form of reminder is if we know that he's supposed to have something done by a certain time, I will say, okay, Jeremiah, I know you're playing your game right now, but you have 15 minutes. And in the next 15 minutes, I need you to stop playing your game and I need you to get on to this task, okay? And then when it's like 5 minutes, I'll say, okay, you have 5 minutes left. So whatever you're doing, you know, get done with it. And my expectation is for you to start this thing in 5 minutes. And then my expectation is for him to do it in 5 minutes. Or to, you know, start whatever I told him to do. And I won't remind him again. And I'll check in like 30 minutes. If he is still watching television or playing that game in that time period, I turn it off. And I tell him with firmness, I've given you reminders. You know what you were supposed to do. You made the conscious decision not to do it. Therefore, you're not going to have any games for the rest of the day. So go get done what I asked you to get done. And when you are done doing that, let's go check it together. But you can't get back on the game for the rest of the day. Okay? So we do those. Okay? The next tip. You want to ascertain whether or not your child has a spirit of laziness. It's a character issue and not another type of issue. It's not an attention issue. It's not something dealing with their memory, and that's a medical reason. So you really want to make sure it's not a medical reason. That your child is being so forgetful and they're unable to focus or pay attention. So ascertain whether or not it's a character issue, spirit of laziness, spirit of forgetfulness, because they're occupied doing other things that they enjoy and they're not focusing on what you've asked them to do or what they know they should do, versus some type of medical reason. Because depending on what it is, you are going to have to adjust your methods and adjust your tactics or techniques and how you habit train. You can still habit train, but you may have to do some maneuvering and adjustments. Okay, but those are some of the tips that I wanted to share with you guys. But again, give yourself grace, because this process is not easy. It is frustrating. It is annoying. Your voice will hurt because you have to repeat yourself over and over and over and over again. You're going to have to get up and go check what they're doing. You're going to have to do it for them, do it with them, and you're going to have to be okay with whatever consequences you give them for having a spirit of laziness that is consistent. If they forget once or twice or 3 or 4 times, you know, that's okay in the beginning. And even if they forget a year later or 2 years later and they're not doing it, you know, consistently every day and they're doing it every other day, that's okay. Okay? But if they're just being disobedient, then you have to figure that out, mom and dad. Okay? In our household, we're not tolerating disobedience. We do not tolerate lying. We do not tolerate disobedience. We do not tolerate a spirit of laziness. Of course, we can have a spirit of laziness if you are super tired, or if you're sick, or you're just having one of those days where you like really don't want to do anything, and that's where grace comes in. But if it's something that you're doing because it's a character issue, we're going to talk about it. We're going to correct it. We're going to make adjustments. We're going to move on from it. But I hope this video was a benefit. I hope it was helpful. I hope that these tips are useful. And also, love your children. Love on them. Hug them. Kiss them. That's another tip. When they're doing things consistently, or if they're not consistent and all of a sudden they do it without asking, praise them. High five. Good job. I am so proud of you. You are doing great. And if they're grooming themselves properly, I always give my son compliments. Oh, look, you're so handsome. Look at those teeth. Let me see those teeth. Oh, you've been flossing, haven't you? Or look at your skin. Oh my goodness, it's clearing up. Are you using that moisturizer? Awesome job. Or, oh, your chips are not chips. Your lips aren't cracked anymore, which means you are applying your chapstick and you are drinking and consuming more water. That is awesome. Or you did a great job picking out your hair. Or, oh my goodness, your bed making skills, mwah, 360. Now, don't say and do these things if you're being fake and it's not happening, because children can tell fakeness, okay? Just like adults can. But if these things are actually taking place, compliment them and be overly enthusiastic about them, especially when they're younger. Okay, praise them. And if they are older and they're being consistent and they're doing these things, recognize the fact that they do these things, okay? And give them treats for doing it. Take them out all of a sudden. Give them praise, hugs, and kisses, and words of encouragement and affirmation and support. Give them those things, okay? But be patient with yourself, parents. Be patient. But as always, you be blessed. You make it a great day, and just keep homeschooling on. Keep homeschooling on. And until we meet again in another video, talk to you soon.